Welcome, guys, to episode 23 of the Watchlist podcast. Today, we're talking about the hit sensation right now, The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. And this is going to be an interesting episode because for the first time ever in the Watchlist podcast, I have no clue what Luke thinks of it. He just got back
Yeah, literally
from
just
from
got
the
home.
showing,
Yeah.
and so he didn't log it on Letterboxd. I was trying to look, and I have no clue if he likes this or not. So I'm in a hell or high water right now
Yeah.
because I don't like this movie, and I'm really nervous about what Luke thinks. So, Luke, give us your little spiel of your experience you just came back from.
Yeah. Saw it in IMAX. It was a 5 p.m. showing, just standard IMAX, not 70 millimeter. Packed theater, which is fun. Person next to me went on their phone a few times. Super strange. Um, I kind of love this movie.
Oh my God, no.
Eli was like, I'm gonna be so mad if Luke likes this movie.
No, fuck. I'm like the
Yeah.
only one who doesn't like
No,
this.
and here's the thing, okay? It's kind of weird that I like this movie, right? I think there's the first act was rocky for sure, and throughout there's things that I wish were different for sure. I think as a whole, it feels undeniable to me where I don't know. I'm just watching Matt Damon and I'm in it. I'm just so in it. And it just fucks. Like it just kind of rips. I don't know what to say. Like I it's just kind of it's just this thing that's so sprawling and so big and so like immersive that I'm just kind of I'm in. I have a bias towards this. I like in I've loved the Odyssey since we read it in middle school, and I've like I love that story, and so I kind of when this was announced, I was kind of just instantly like this, especially because I'm not a Nolan head, right? But in this late Nolan career, I'm kind of a little bit of a Nolan head. I feel like this I think is a step down formally from Oppenheimer, which is sad to see, but kind of still it's so ambitious that it just kind of pulls me to that kind of level of, you know, being a fan.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. All right, let's hear. I mean, you don't have to go into like every detail, but what was your experience watching it?
So before I even get into anything,
Yeah.
I did also see it in IMAX opening day with a buddy of mine, and we're both not familiar with the Odyssey or whatever. Um, and tomorrow I am seeing it in 70 millimeter
Yes.
IMAX. So I'm
What time's
really
that one?
hoping, and I've actually seen from some people online that people have seen it initially and they don't like it, and then they'll go see it again and they
Yeah.
like it. So I want to start to the people watching this.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on this movie because it's Nolan, because it's all these things, because it's well liked. I genuinely just do not like it, and later on I will explain and back myself up with that. I am really hoping that the experience with 70 millimeter IMAX, just having that moment, will get me to where everyone else is. I really want to like this movie. I'm glad everyone's liking this movie. The only thing I am sad about is that I do kind of feel left out and kind of clueless of why people like it, because there's a lot of things that I think are honestly pretty bad in this movie. Um, the experience was funny. I actually had a funny experience, like similar with you, the guy with the phone.
Oh, really?
We had two
Opening
technology
day.
instances. There was a guy sitting on front of us, and he had this little device. And me and my friend at first were talking about like, oh, is he going to be like pirating this movie? Is he like recording
Oh.
it? And then during the trailers, it's subtitles. So there'll be times when I'm looking down and the subtitles are in English. So I'm like, what the hell is
Uh,
going on? Is this guy like deaf or
uh,
something? And I was like, that must be a pain in the ass to be watching this movie and have to be constantly looking down on front of you. I was
yeah.
like, I was like, okay, whatever. And then right when the movie started, like as the it's Universal, right? Like as the
Uh, is it? Yeah, yeah, I
What's
think
the
it
production
is.
company? Yeah,
Yeah.
Universal. When the Universal logo's coming on, a phone started ringing and our entire theater started booing, and
Oh, really?
it was a great intro
Yeah,
into
that's awesome, actually.
getting into the world. So yeah, it was a packed theater as well opening day,
Of
obviously,
course, yeah.
as you would expect. Um, and yeah, I was really excited going into it. I really wanted to like it. I loved Oppenheimer. I still think about Oppenheimer once a week to this day. It's like such a brilliant film. And yeah, I mean, all the pieces were there, right? Ludwig like scoring. I was like, hell yeah. Um, a great cast with people that are great actors like Zendaya and Pattinson that are just like in their prime right now. They're doing great stuff. There were some things I was a little skeptical on like beforehand, and I was glad that it wasn't true, especially like Elliot Page playing Achilles, which is not true at all.
Yeah,
He
that
does
was
not play
some
Achilles.
right-wing propaganda there.
Yeah,
Just
I was
like
like, what? I was like, where did
it's like,
that? I was
"Nope,
thinking
it's
as this
not,"
going
but
on because
okay.
when the movie opened, I still was under that connotation that Elliot Page is playing
Oh,
Achilles,
yeah.
and I had just came from seeing Troy,
Troy,
which
yeah.
I love, by the way. I like Troy better than or the Odyssey,
Oppenheimer.
and I'll talk about that a little later. Um, so when I saw Elliot Page standing outside the Trojan horse getting shot, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
I thought Achilles is in the horse, and
Yeah,
Achilles is like not present in this movie at all. Um, so yeah, Elliot Page plays Sinone or whatever, and
yeah.
then Tom Holland was an iffy thing for me because I'm not big on Tom Holland, and knowing he had such a big role, and I think he's the best part of this movie. So I was really good that the things I was coming in negatively on
Mm,
ended up being the positives, and like vice versa, where like some things I was really excited for ended up like really letting me down. Another like big thing I really liked was Samantha Morton. She's
yeah,
great.
so good.
And that scene's probably one of the three good scenes in the movie. So
Yeesh.
yeah, so that's like my experience. I don't want to. I could ramble on for about an hour about all the things I don't like, but
Yeah.
we'll have a
We'll go back and
conversation here.
forth. Yeah.
I'll let you speak. You know.
Yeah.
So how do you want to go about this? How do you want to?
It's such a big movie, it's so hard, and
It's
I,
yeah,
like, just got
it's a
here,
big
and it's
move.
just kinda, like, all I
Yeah, it's
haven't had
probably
time to
overwhelming for
process
sure.
it, so it's kinda bizarre, but, yeah, Tom Holland, I'm a little different where, I am a Tom Holland fan, like, I think like, I've always saw his potential and just been like, "Man, if he can get a real movie under his belt, like, this guy is gonna, like, he's gonna have a great role, it's gonna be a great moment." And I
Yeah,
knew in the audit, I kind of like knew I expected this, and it is it's kind of like, oh, this is what Tom Holland's meant to be doing. He's meant to be a movie star, like he's a movie star, right? And it's like when he's not making like jokes every 5 seconds, he can be a good actor. So it's like really
yeah.
lovely to see. I don't think he'll continue to be in good movies like anytime soon. Um, but it's it's great to see him in one where I
Yeah.
can kind of be proven right in my mind because I've always thought that about him. Yeah, I mean performances across the board, almost all I thought really worked. Were there any performances you really didn't like?
Yeah, so all of them besides Tom Holland,
Really, you
basically.
don't like Anne
So
Hathaway?
that no, that's so this is one of my
Oof.
major reasons of why I don't like the film. The movie to me feels so overacted. So there will be a lot of instances where I'm watching it, and uh, a big thing is like good acting. It kind of feels like they're embodying the character. And during this movie, I just saw all the the actors acting.
Mm.
Like I could just tell, you know, like especially unfortunately, probably the worst performance is Robert Pattinson, and I'm
Oh,
really sad about that because it just does not feel right. There's something about it that it just irks me the wrong way the whole time. Um, and not every performance, it's really hard when you have some characters that are barely in the fucking movie. And that's another issue I have, right? Especially like Zendaya's character
Mm.
Athena barely being in the movie. She is what I felt from the core of what the movie is. I felt like she could have been a really vital role that could be utilized a little bit more. And it kind of feels like she's kind of being inserted there at moments where it's, I don't know, like where Christopher Nolan like wants her to be in there instead of it being like a natural progressive
I
thing throughout the film.
disagree. That's one of my favorite kind of parts of the movie is how
But she's barely in the movie
yeah,
though.
I mean, but you could say that as but I think that's even like a more testament to Christopher Nolan just kind of doing what needs to be done for the story rather than, "Oh, I have Zendaya in my movie, let me use her as much as I can for no reason." And I think like Zendaya, yeah, the part is super little. Like she's like her screen time is very little, but she
Five
maybe has the
minutes.
most important face in the movie. She, like kind of, I don't. It's maybe early to get into like the, kind
The
of
ending
what
sequence.
the
Yeah.
movie, yeah, or like what it's about and all that. But she like the biggest level of the Odyssey is Odysseus kind of battling with this turmoil of maybe not being like this great person and kind of not living by, like honorably and kind of being selfish at times and kind of, going through all this like inner turmoil and she or like her face popping up and like seeing her um is like kind of representing that. And so like I don't and it felt good. It felt like there was the reveal to it. There was like I mean the third act has like 100 narrative payoffs and that's one of them where like you see her kind of spoiler head get chopped off, you know. Um and it it's a I think it's a good kind of way to do it is to like not really to withhold that information of who she is and kind of like because I think if you give her more screen time, she's gonna have to, I think it just becomes clearer like exactly what she is. And I think she only shows up kind of in the moments with Calypso, or like kind of in that era of his journey, which is when he starts to, I think, humble
Remember.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, or remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember everything.
Calypso is another interesting thing. I have
Beautiful.
Charlize Theron. No.
Oh, you don't think she's
So
beautiful?
oh no, she's beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's a beautiful human being.
Yeah. That's kind of,
Um, yeah, so everyone here is beautiful.
yeah.
It's just the acting. The biggest thing is when Calypso is another thing about we're gonna be saying spoilers. This not this book has been out for
Yeah. Yeah.
3,000
That's
years,
true. It's
so like
just,
it's whatever.
yeah.
Calypso, there's a moment where she admits that she's in love with Odysseus, and I just don't believe it. I kind of just shrugged. I was like, who the fuck cares? I was like, I can't see it in her eyes. I can't see in her performance that she's like that. And Nolan does a lot of things like he does these things that really piss me off where it's really it almost feels like you have to put effort into like doing something like this where there will be a moment where a character will say something and then it shows a clip of that thing
Yeah. There's definitely
and
a lot of
I
that.
I don't like that at all. And there'll be things as it does at the beginning where it's like as we head to the rising sun, and then it shows a clip of the rising sun, and it's like the fresh waters, and it cuts to
Yeah.
the water. I'm like, it just doesn't work
Yeah.
for me. I'm just like,
It's
this isn't working. And it's the same thing with Calypso, and she's explaining her love. Then it does all these things like the way that she's holding his hand and all this stuff. I'm just like, I feel like showing it like he's doing a weird reverse thing where if you maybe showed this thing subtly before and then it kind of is revealed to be like that, it would maybe make a little more sense to me. Um, I do think Matt Damon is fine as Odysseus. I'm not like hating on Odysseus as a character. Um, the
that's
biggest
crazy.
thing, the biggest thing I have to say is, and you know this as well as I do, and because I've said it a lot of times, I hate journey movies.
Yeah, I
I
was
hate them.
literally thinking that, or I was like, is he gonna hate this movie because which I like get
Okay,
it. It's
I
just funny because it's
again,
like it's the Odyssey. But
yeah,
like it's
I,
also true where like you know, same thing.
Again, it's not like it's not as point blank as that. It's not like I don't
Yeah,
like this movie
right.
because it's a journey movie.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just doesn't help, right?
Yes, yeah, of
Like
course.
I've already explained,
It's
like
just kind of funny
I'll
as like
explain more, you know?
it just being the
But it's
Odyssey.
also yeah, yeah. It's also there's moments where I would laugh at the journey of Odysseus. It's like really funny because a lot of the times they'll go to an island, they'll do something, and they're like, back to the boats. It's like over and over. And I'm just like, it's like the same fucking shit again.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
mean,
like big moments that people are really liking that I don't like. The Cyclops. I don't like that portion.
oh,
It feels too long. It feels kind of, and it's an important part to the story, especially since the Cyclops is the son of Poseidon.
yeah.
Um, I understand these things, you guys. It's not like I'm clueless watching this movie. I understand what Nolan's
Yo,
doing.
shit on this
It's just
guy.
these things just aren't working for
I
me. It's
I like how drawn out that part is because up until that point is where like that's the point in the movie where I started to kind of get on board because of how choppy it is. Like the first half is kind of a lot of the movies kind of edited in a way where it's a little it's flawed. There's a lot of like good editing cues, I think. There's a lot of him shooting dialogue in a lot of like the first part was a little like strange
so
and
would you agree with me
shooting.
when I'm saying like him as like making those shots after dialogue pieces? Did you notice that as well?
So the Cisse editing, yeah, of course, it's like the whole movie. But I think the thing with that is it's kind of it. There's a really really difficult narrative structure that this movie kind of has to fall in line with, where it's a lot of storytelling. Um, but I think it worked for me, especially with like the parts with the sun, because that's a very important thing, and it's kind of also like that's a much better like visual than whatever the dialogue shots he's doing, which don't look great a
Sure.
lot of the time. And whenever it cuts, it's usually a lot more interesting. So I'm never like, oh, I wish he didn't cut there.
Yeah.
Um, and also just the storytelling aspect and how important like telling the story is and how like the songs and kind of this like myth making comes about, like I feel that from him doing that. But I don't know, I mean, I get it, he does it a lot. It just is it feels like there's so many like stories being told in the movie, right? And John Bernthal telling like Tom Holland, and it's just like goes into this, other it goes into the Trojan horse and stuff like that, which I think that was one of the kind of more impressive things for Nolan to pull off. I think was kind of the Trojan horse moment and Elliot Page's character Sinon Sinon
Sinon, yeah. Sinon.
kind of being like the sacrifice, and you know Odysseus not telling him, and them in the horse, and him like you know I don't know, that part was
Yeah.
I was like, this he's doing good like in constructing these these scenes. I have an issue with a lot of the way Nolan's kind of doing things, but it kind of I mean, yeah, so there's so much like things that are shallow focus, or he's there's like a focus puller working a lot at the beginning and a little at the end, that is just like, what are you do like, how did this get through, or like what was this focus puller doing right there, like
It's also surprising because you have Hoyte van Hoytema doing
yeah.
this, and are you a fan of Hoyte?
Sure, yeah, he's good.
Like, sure, yeah. I mean, everyone is, like, super hyped about him. He's a Oscar-winning cinematographer. Have they worked together before? Did they do
I'm pretty sure.
I think they might have done Dunkirk. I don't really remember what they've done together. Um, I actually don't
Yeah, it was
really even know
Oppenheimer.
much.
He did Oppenheimer, Interstellar,
Oh,
and Dunkirk, and Tenet. I knew he did Oppenheimer, but I didn't want to be wrong there.
I didn't know he did that much with him.
Yeah, I didn't
honestly.
know either, but,
But yeah,
there's
shallow
some
focus, stuff like that.
yeah, but,
Um,
I'm thinking, like, they had to make these big fucking boxes for the camera to go in because it's so loud and, like, it's such a difficult like, every sequence is like, "This is so incredibly difficult to, like, make work," you know? Like, everything, even, you know, like, literally everything. And there's some intrigue there with Nolan kind of doing this, like, incredibly difficult thing and it not being perfect that's more appealing than watching him kind of just, like, very easily do, this is gonna sound crazy to people, just calling, like, his other movies easy, but, like, there's I think, like, I feel him more, like, really going out of his comfort zone, like, in a lot of, like, the Odyssey, where I think, like, everyone would agree, the Odyssey is just, like, so I mean, it's like how do you adapt that? Like, it's insane, and he's kind of like there's some like imperfections of the movie that make it feel like a real movie. That like it doesn't feel like a fucking like Nolan, boring movie or whatever.
yeah,
Like that's Tenet kind of has that vibe where he's just fucking going for it. Um, I don't know. I don't have my thoughts fully formed on that, but, like, on some level, like, there was just something really appealing about him swinging for it, and I feel him trying, um, you know, it's tough. I mean, the shallow focus is just annoying. Like, I was like, so many parts is just like it's, like, fine there's, like, a lot of parts where it's fine, and I'm not like it should never be used and all that, but it was a lot of the times is like, this is not nee this could just put it in focus.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Christopher Nolan.
So I want to, before I don't want it to just be straight shit talk from me. I'm gonna talk about scenes I really, really liked.
Yeah,
The first one that really stood out to me was the siren sequence. I was like, yeah. I was
yeah,
like, fuck yeah, it's great. I love the sound design there.
yeah.
I love Ludwig's score there.
Yeah, that's where
And
he kind of has his
as
best moment.
I'm doing an asterisk there. I don't like Ludwig's score. So I was really underwhelmed, especially when you're coming from something like Oppenheimer, which is to me
Yeah,
one of the greatest scores ever composed. And then you go to this, a big thing is the sound mixing, where a lot of the times I couldn't even hear the fucking song. Like this movie is really loud. My
yeah,
friend over here, there's some scenes where he was literally plugging his ears because
yeah.
it's so damn
My
loud.
girlfriend
And
was plugging her ears the entire movie, like, literally,
yeah, it's really loud.
mad. Yeah, it
And
is really
it's
loud.
to the point where it's loud where you can't even it doesn't give Ludwig some room to breathe, you know? Like, eh, a lot of his scores are I think he works really well when it's very forward at moments where he's kind of facilitating some of the tone there, and a lot of the times, like, I actually ended up with the movie, I was like, "I don't even know if I heard 5 songs from him, like, throughout this movie." Like, it is really hard for me to
Yeah.
differentiate, like, did I like the score or did I just not hear it,
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
I feel the same where I do think it's a much more straightforward Ludwig score, which I kind of like from him because I mean the Oppenheimer score and a lot of his like the Sinners ones are very big and obvious scores where like they're playing it a lot and it's great and it's like grandiose and it's this thing where kind of um Odyssey, I always wanna say Oppenheimer because they both start with the
Yeah,
O.
me too, me too.
Odyssey
I've already done it.
is like, is it's kind of a more laid back score where it's more conventional and kind of, letting these other big things happen, which I kind of like, I maybe would've I don't know how I fully feel about it where maybe, the Odyssey probably would have served better from, something more grandiose, more like operatic. But I know like in the 3rd act where like
Yeah,
Odysseus
The
is
Troy
going.
sequence and Sirens were the two moments where they're like some of my favorite scenes, and it's when I could hear his score. There's
Yeah,
something about Ludwig working there in the midst that I think if I don't know if it was something like Oppenheimer, you can hear that score and it's like an added element. I'm also really big on music and film.
yeah,
Uh, there will be moments where a movie can be bad and it has a good score, and I like the movie genuinely because of the score. Which is probably not the best way to go about it, but score like music
yeah,
is really important to me, and it actually gets me emotional a lot of moments. And the siren scene in this movie is one of the most emotional moments, and I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's emotional, but it's like the way that the narration is going about
yeah. The
it.
narration's really good at that part.
The narration's really good. I like the way that the sound is kind of dissipated as soon as Himesh Patel puts in that wax, the sound goes away and the score is introduced. I was like, yes, give
Yeah,
it to me,
take away
give it
that
to me.
sound.
And it happens really late in the movie where that was the first time I was like genuinely leaning forward. And here's a big thing. Going into an IMAX screening for a new Christopher Nolan film, I'm expecting to be completely swept over. Like a lot of people are, right? And a lot of the movie, like a lot of people are talking about the choppy first act. A lot of people are talking about it. The first 20 minutes is not the best and it kind of wins them over time. And that's why it's good that the movie's long because then you can kind of get a grasp of what Nolan's going for. To me, after those 20 minutes, it just never picked up, right? Until that third act where it does some interesting things. Um, and that's just kind of where I lie, being really disappointed. And at that 3 star I gave it, where I'm just like, I can see the potential here. I can see what Nolan's doing. I agree with everything. The camera work is really impressive with how big of a fucking camera it is. I remember hearing about Nolan saying, with that big of a camera, you have to be really intentional with every single shot. So there's a moment at the beginning of the film where I noticed this immediately. It's when Penelope and Odysseus are laying in bed together, and there's a wide shot of the entire room, and then it goes to a close up. And immediately I was like, that took a lot of time to literally move that camera closer to Odysseus's
Oh
face.
yeah,
And that's the first time I noticed. I was like, okay, there's a lot of effort that goes into making this movie with that big of a fucking camera. So I notice these things, right? But I don't attune that to my score. I'm not being like, oh, that's so impressive. I'm in, right? I'm thinking plot wise, I'm thinking how I'm feeling, and I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm sitting there like this the whole time, and my emotions just aren't really changing, right? Uh, I mean, the pig sequence, I'm kind of just,
yeah,
there's the pig sequence, I was like, ooh, that's cool because I know it's
yeah.
all practical,
Right.
and it's really fucking cool
Yeah,
that that's
it's really
practical.
good. And I mean
Um,
just the way it's constructed too, I think, yeah, that performance. And I think, yeah, I mean it's he shoots the deer and it's, human, and then, that kind of like narrative information is
yeah,
just
the
it's good.
progression
It's
there.
like it's
Yeah.
he's doing good on,
And the
crafting.
eating's pretty gross. It's kind of feels like body horror, and
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
"Okay,
Yeah, no,
Nolan,
it
I
is
didn't know
horror.
you're
This
that
is like
sick."
horror shit in this movie. It's like,
And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know
yeah.
you were that sick, Nolan.
Yeah,
Holy."
that's kind of, definitely, like, the fun stuff, for me, but,
Yeah,
yeah, like, I think I actually like kind of the repetitiveness of kind of, like, he's traveling and he's pulling up somewhere, and I mean, this is the why I love the Odyssey too, but he's pulling up somewhere on he's going to the next island, and it's like, all right, what fucked up shit is going on here, right? We're like, it's always gonna be bad, and like, what is it? And the fantasy elements where I think opens it up to like it literally could be anything. And I mean another great practical thing where I don't really understand how they did it is the giant people, the giant warriors in the forest is just kind of like, whoa, like, I mean, that's kind
yeah,
of where there's some great images. I think a big kind of not a big issue because the movie just really worked for me, but kind of something I was thinking about is I wish Nolan was more interested in crafting images in this one, at least, where I mean, in general, I would say, but Oppenheimer, I think he does some good stuff. But in this, I don't feel like he's super interested in really like crafting an image rather than kind of like getting the scene across, which is not like a
Mm.
bad thing. Like there, it's important to kind of, you know, you understand the emotion of the scene. You know, it's all important. But I think there's something missing that I don't think I'll ever, give this like a 4.5 stars or anything, um, because of that. And where it's kind of like how it has to be so intentional where he films it. It doesn't. I don't feel that a lot of the times where I think he's just kind of, kind of doing pretty conventional stuff, especially with the dialogue. Um, but
Which we haven't even gotten into yet. Do
yeah,
you have an issue with the dialogue?
I generally don't. I'm just generally not bothered by dialogue because for me, when I watch a movie, dialogue doesn't like how people say dialogue. I don't think really matters. What like matters more to me is like what it means. Like what's the meaning that the dialogue
Mm,
carries, right? Like
yeah,
what is the scene conveying or this moment conveying?
yeah.
And I think the performances are good. I mean, I think there's an over the topness, but there's like a level of this movie that just feels Hollywood still, where it's like I'm watching a blockbuster and they're giving like it feels like a blockbuster because they're going big,
Yeah,
where which is fun, but I mean, I I I mean, the thing I think Anne Hathaway is really good. I think Robert Pattinson is great, actually.
really.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you say that.
yeah,
It feels way too obvious to me, man. Like, it just feels way too obvious. Like, there's just stuff like, you just compare it to all the work he's been doing, and to me, it just seems like the easiest for
yeah. I
him.
don't think
Like,
it's like the best performance he's given. I would say
yeah.
he's even better in the drama. It's tough. But I think he serves his purpose as just this kind. I think like this movie kind of you just need kind of like a little sniveling he feels like a character actor kind of thrown into the movie that I think is appealing in this kind of like, in a certain way. And I'm just watching Robert Pattinson and enjoying it because it's Robert Pattinson maybe a little bit, you know. But
Yeah, see, that to me is the big issue. Like, I don't wanna see Robert Pattinson, you know what I mean? Even though I know it's him, there's different movies, like, even the drama, you know that's fucking Robert Pattinson, obviously. You see him on screen. But there's something about his character that just feels different, you know? He's been doing a lot
I
of
mean,
stuff with
I feel that
accents.
way about the Odyssey. Like
Yeah,
I
where
don't
I
feel
it
like I'm
it's almost every character. The cast is so big, and everyone's, like, a huge actor, and you just kind of it's hard for me to kind of
yeah.
that's a big bridge that it's hard for me to get across, right? You're trying to go from, "Okay, I know these people are actors," right? And then I need to believe the performances to get to the story, right? It's kind of the vessel. I know there's a lot of other elements in film, but they're kind of the vessel of the script, of what Nolan's doing behind the camera, what Hoyta's doing, what Ludwig is kind of basing his score on. It's the performances. And when the performances are just kind of over the top too much for me, and I mean, I've heard it from other people that like it, right? I think
Yeah.
it's kind of an obvious thing that it's over the top. And this is why I'm kind of excited to re-enter it. I'm so glad I didn't see this movie in 70 millimeter the first time. I'm glad I get to revisit it on a second time,
Definitely seems like
knowing,
a better movie on the second watch, which I
yeah,
felt with Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, I came out of being like, I didn't like that much. Like I was kind of like mid on it. I was like, fucking Christopher Nolan's overrated hack loser. Robert, and like these things. And then I watched it. It won Best Picture, and I'm like, okay, let me give this another shot. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay. I think Oppenheimer's better than this movie. And
cool. Okay, I was really nervous because I'm assuming you're giving the Odyssey a 4 star,
yeah,
so
I am.
Yeah, so I was really nervous that please don't be better than Oppenheimer. Like
Right.
Oppenheimer
Yeah,
feels like
no.
that's the Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have to say, I have to ask you this.
Okay. Ask me.
One of the hardest things for me,
Mhm.
uh, uh, attuned with the actors, was the immediate first scene with Travis Scott.
That was so funny. Yeah.
So I knew he was
Yeah.
I knew he opened the film by
Oh,
saying the
okay.
song,
Oh, I did
right?
not.
So I knew that going in, and I was not opposed. I was like, okay,
Okay.
cool. As soon as he pops onto my screen, roll the eyes. This is dumb. I was like, it's just the way it is. I just see Travis Scott. He's
Yeah.
not a good actor.
Yeah.
The way he's saying the lines, it's like this seems like it's a powerful story that like you should be entering the Odyssey with like a big, powerful message about this is Odysseus. He came from Troy, the Trojan War, right? And all this stuff. I feel like that just needs to be done better, and Travis Scott's not the way to do it. I understand why Nolan's doing it. He's talking about the Odyssey originally being a poem, and rap is the new form of poetry, and so let's get Travis Scott to do it, and it's cool. I fucking love that Travis Scott's in the Odyssey. It's kind of fun,
Yeah, right.
but it just doesn't. It doesn't feel like the safe. It doesn't feel like the best way to start the
So
Odyssey.
this is where I'm so I kind of what I said earlier because I agree with you. Like I'm like full on I agree, but Christopher Nolan like doing that and like making it like imperfect is like a little bit appealing to me in that way. I don't know like how exactly to explain it, but I'm like it's a little I don't know, but it's something like a just because of this movie being so important and a blank check and this thing for him to start the movie with Travis Scott is a little bit like what he's got so much balls to like
Okay,
just
yeah, so I agree
you
with you.
know
We agree with each other's saying.
yeah I think it's but and that I get some appeal out of that. I get some where I'm like, yeah, I see Travis Scott and he's not giving a good performance, and I kind of he probably shouldn't be in this movie. And still it's like I don't even if I hated it, I'm like it's not a I don't think it's a big deal that would like take anything away from the movie because it's just kind of like something that happens and it's like okay. Um but I think there's something with like Christopher Nolan doing some weird shit that I don't know, it's kind of cool. But yeah, I would agree that like it's I don't know why Travis Scott I don't know if he should be in the movie and he's giving a bad
Yeah,
performance and then he shows up again in the movie and it's like all right, get out of here. We had our
yeah.
fun the first time, But, it's really
Um,
whatever. I wouldn't say that is like a flaw of the movie.
I wouldn't say it's like a huge flaw. I think it just set the tone for me of like what this movie's gonna be, and I was just like,
Right.
oh gosh.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a hilarious way to like, I don't that's kinda crazy that he's the first
yeah,
thing you see
it's
for
so
the
insane.
Odyssey. But,
uh, another big thing that really let me down was like I said, I noticed the buildup of Odysseus coming back to Ithaca, right? I noticed it. I was like,
yeah,
okay, I'm really excited for this third act because a lot of people online are saying the third act made them float, and at a moment it did, which we'll talk about later. The whole buildup, the movie's so long, a lot of the buildup is Odysseus coming back to Ithaca. Like that's the whole story, right? Him
right.
coming back, and he's going through these trials and tribulations to get there. I am just on the latter half of saying I just didn't like the journey there. Once you get to Ithaca, there's a moment that really let me down, and it made me really sad. And I was like, man, and I don't know if it's true to the novel, like to the
I
novel,
might
or
know
so.
if you
So I will ask you that. I know
maybe.
you
I'm
read
not an
it in middle
expert,
school,
but,
right?
like, I,
Yeah.
like, know some stuff.
So there's a moment right before the trial where they lock the doors,
Okay.
where Odysseus sees his dog. Great
Yeah.
moment. And I've seen the painting of that, and it's really emotional, all that stuff. It's a huge moment in in what I believe is the Odyssey, right? I at least know about that. And then Tom Holland playing is
Telemachus.
it Telemachus? Yeah. So he's playing Telemachus, and he comes out and he sees him looking at the dog. And it's in that moment he realizes it's his father. And it's just the lamest response ever. And it's like playing like a joke. And to me, what I'm feeling like the whole movie to me was feeling like is building up, right? Telemachus is looking for his father, and he like wants to see his father. He's never like really met him because he left for the Trojan War all that time ago. And Odysseus is ready to come back, and he wants to see his son, and he just like remembered that he has a son, right? And I'm thinking it's going to be this big emotional moment that's going to sweep me, and the whole movie's going to make sense. It's all going to click for me in that moment. It's really emotional. I love father-son stories as you do. And then the way it's kind of played out is Telemachus is like, "Oh, so you're Odysseus." And then Odysseus does a little joke when he's saying like, I don't remember what he actually says, but it's like a joke, and he goes, and Telemachus before he walks away, he's like, "Yeah, that's right, you're a beggar," and then just walks away. There's no like embrace. It's just like he
Yeah, that's right.
realizes
You're a
that that's
beggar. Wait, who says that?
Telemachus because they're making a joke in that moment, right? Because Odysseus is playing a beggar,
Yes.
right? And he's like, "Yeah, that's right." He's playing it cheeky. He's like, "Yeah, right, you're a beggar," and then he walks away, and it just kind of made me be like, "Damn, that's it? That's the reunion of these two people?"
Interesting.
And then it kind of left me in shock. I was like, "That's what we were leading towards." There's no big embrace. They don't have this big moment together. Even later, they don't even have this big moment together. It's kind of focused on Penelope and Odysseus rather than Telemachus, who I feel is a very important part of the movie and a really good performance by Tom Holland. And then it just kind of is left in the dust by this kind of joke that's being played. And it just is like, ah, really?
I didn't feel that.
Um,
I didn't feel that it was I felt it was very sincere actually. Like when cuz they don't embrace or anything, but I think those two performances I think are so incredible, and when they're just looking at each other, like I felt so much. Like I think both of their performances are so great. Especially Matt Damon's is why it's so great. I think, like, Telemachus, Tom Holland has a lot to work with, kind of. I mean, Matt Damon does too, but Matt Damon is, I think, they bring so much interiority to their roles, like serious, serious fucking great acting going on, and I just remember them looking at each other, and Tom Holland's eyes are kind of watering, and there's kind of the fire lighting their faces and this kind of it's kind of this like moment that's so surreal, because I think there's this kind of like I mean he never met his father, right? And like they never have met each other. I mean, like as you know, like they haven't
yeah.
seen each other, you know what I mean? Um and so I think there's this kind of surrealness to it, but their looks and their like feelings towards each other like were there, and it's a pretty long moment where I don't think it was just like brushed off with a joke. I think they you know have a moment together. um they don't embrace, but I don't know if I would have like loved that if they like you know there's something with the secret being kept, like Telemachus has to keep the secret of Odysseus, and kind of Odysseus keeping the secret from Penelope, um, and kind of, revealing it. I feel like he reveals it in the talk with Penelope. I feel like Penelope knows in that moment. That's really interesting. Like, my girlfriend Katie was kind of like, "Why didn't like?" She's like, "I'm pissed off that he didn't just tell everyone that he's Odysseus here." And I was like, "Yeah, but like he's got to have some hype moments and aura. Like he's got to, you know, do that." And I think like that. I love kind of that narrative choice. I mean, it's in the Odyssey. It's not Nolan's choice, but like the way it's done
Yeah.
is it's very exciting, and it's very kind of um I think it's a there's a testament to kind of their love for each other when like the very end when Telemachus becomes king, right? Like I think there's like the admiration there. Um and they fight together, and yeah, I don't know. Their situation just seemed very like complex to me where it didn't I I I don't know if I would have loved like a just, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you," because it's strange. But
I
that
mean, I'm not saying I was expecting anything. I'm more saying
it felt
my expectation.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it felt
Yeah,
anticlimactic, and like there really was. I wish I felt that emotion as you did through the performances,
yeah.
and I just didn't.
I mean, I think there's
Um,
something to what you're saying where it doesn't feel as big, where maybe like they're building to it with their big characters in it, like, you know, like maybe from how important their characters are to each other. Right. I mean, yeah, like
yeah,
Odysseus coming home and Tom Holland wanting, his dad, right? To like solve
yeah,
everything, fix all the problems going on, you know.
yeah.
Like maybe, yeah, it could have been bigger. I also I I just love the idea of like the Ithaca kind of like it's hell and it's
Oh yeah,
going to shit, and like,
yeah, yeah.
he's coming in and just like fucking
I was just about to say that. That's
yeah.
my favorite part of the lore. Like, not even knowing the Odyssey, like that is like such a genius thing. It makes me want to read the Odyssey because it's the payoff of the bow is great.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. Did
it's
you
so
not know
good.
that going in?
No, I didn't know it,
Oh,
and it's
cool.
so great.
No, it's
It's
so
such a
when
great.
I remember reading that and like losing my shit. Like it's like
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
he's from
So
the bow.
that was great, and I mean, I always love when like he's like the beggar, right? And he's
Right.
doing
He's
it,
like a
and all
hood.
yeah, they're all bullying him. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're not gonna do it,"
Yeah,
and
right.
then I love because I mean, at that moment, I knew he was gonna do it, right?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
love that anticipation and be like, "Oh, he's gonna do it, and he's gonna prove everyone wrong." I just love moments like that in film,
Yeah.
and then I love one of the few things I love about Pattinson's performance was like the
Yeah.
sheer fear,
Yeah.
the fear as soon as he
His
does
like
it, of, like trying to leave.
or like him like
Um,
building up to it. Like when it's not they're like, "Oh, why don't you go?" He's like, "I'll wait my turn."
yeah,
Like he's scared of it.
he doesn't do it, and like he's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, you proved your point."
Yeah.
And then like when the whole battle's going on, he's like instructing people to do things while he's like hiding behind a pillar.
Yes, yeah. Well, because he's always been
Um,
a coward, right? Like he, had Sinan, you know, um, take his place for him, when they were kids. And it's just kind of like, yeah, he's always been like a little bitch, kind of
yeah, so that's the funny part. Pattinson's character I love. It's just not it's his performance. I
performance,
I
sure.
don't. Um, but yeah, the best scene in the entire movie, and I think everyone agrees, is when Matt Damon is sitting and he's separated by Penelope by a gate,
Yeah,
and they're talking, and Athena shows up, and this is when I was like, yes, Athena's great. And I was sitting there, and then he starts telling the story about his regret about the Trojan War, and like I guess you could almost call it like PTSD. I guess
yeah.
it's like a PTSD
I mean,
story.
he's like a veteran. It's kind
Yeah,
of
he's like
like,
a veteran,
yeah,
and that is the only moment in the entire movie I got goosebumps.
yeah.
And it's when it
It's really
cuts
great.
to the Trojan War and the gates are open and Agamemnon is standing there and I'm like,
Right.
holy shit. And they're
Yeah.
all running past him and he walks up like Death Vader, like just standing there
Yeah. No,
and it's lit.
he's
And then
so
it gets to
sick.
this chaotic sequence within Troy. And that's a very interesting sequence for me because I just came from Troy and it didn't feel much different. The whole climax in Troy when they do the whole Trojan horse thing, I think is like just as climactic. in a way. The only difference is I saw this movie in IMAX in the theater, so it felt a
Right.
little more grand. I could feel it a little bit more rather than on my TV at home. But it kind of feels very similar where it is kind of rambunctious attacking and killing and all this stuff. And it coming from Troy, it didn't feel like so revolutionary in a way, I guess. You know
What
what I mean?
what I think makes that moment so special is kind of where you realize, because I think there's a level to it where even at the beginning you think of Odysseus as this kind of really good person, really good, honest, kind of like this perfect person, like, a god or something. And it really deconstructs him in a way where even at the beginning, or I mean, when he shoots the Cyclops at the end, right? He's kind of being a little bit selfish and being like, "Oh, he killed my man, I need to stab him in the back kind of for no reason," right? He kind of does these little things. Even with the sirens, he's like, it's a little selfish where he's like, "I want to be the first man to do it. Like, just chain me up." He kind of wants to, I think, be this kind of, mighty person. And when he comes back at the end as a beggar, he's so humbled and he's so kind of, he is kind of a god, is kind of like, I mean, they joke about it. It's like, you think that's a god? And it's just Odysseus. It's kind of sick.
Yeah, yeah.
But like the flashback area, right? We're going through the Trojan horse where we watch that all at the beginning pretty much, but kind of in a more noble way where we're rooting for him, right? And now we kind of watch that and he kind of flips it on his head in a way where you see them kill innocent people in Troy. They're killing like women, and then they kill Athena, like, yeah, like chop the head off kind of thing. Um and in a way where, and the voiceover is kind of him about him, battling this like guilt and how he thinks he's like talking bad about himself kind of. And
Yeah.
and then I think what's so interesting is kind of the image of the Trojan horse, right? It was a smart plan and it worked, but it's kind of like at the cost of lying. It's like there's no honor in that. Is
I
kind of
love
how he
that part.
feels, right? There's no
It's
honor
like
in,
offending the gods, offending the
right? Yeah, it
gods.
was Zeus's law, right? They mentioned Zeus's law like a
They
million
broke it.
times,
Yeah.
and he broke it to win, which kind of thought of like this noble, great thing, and kind of like the horse falling, being that like last image. Um, it was so interesting where I was like, yeah, this is kind of like, this is it, man. I'm
Yeah.
in.
I agree with you. I felt the same way about Troy. Like I felt the same emotions about
Okay.
Troy where I'm like Troy's very interesting. I'll speak about it briefly here. Troy's very interesting because you don't know who to root for because you're on both sides. Because you're on the Prince's side inside Troy, and then you're on Achilles' side outside of Troy, and you're at that battle. And then when it all comes in and they're just killing him, you kind of don't know. I mean, obviously they're killing innocent people, and in Troy it's
Yeah.
even pretty gruesome where they're just slitting women's throats and throwing babies off roofs, and it kind of feels like this big biblical moment. And so yeah, when I watched the Odyssey, I agree. I felt all those emotions, but it didn't feel as different from Troy, like the movie, where I'm just
Okay.
like, I still got goosebumps. I literally like lifted my hand. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm
Interesting.
getting
Troy.
goosebumps right now.
Christopher Nolan was gonna direct Troy?
Really?
Yeah, he was
Is that true?
attached to it yeah, for the early stages. So,
That's funny.
good thing that didn't happen.
I'm
He probably
I'm
would have
I'm
hated
I'm
Troy.
glad Wolfgang Peterson did it.
Yeah.
I kind of like his style that he does it in there. And I know you don't like Troy, but
Yeah.
it's kind of worth a rewatch.
Might be. Yeah.
Um,
I just thought it was
yeah,
boring. I don't know. I just
there's always there's also some like little interesting things like Helen, who I was familiar with because of Troy. She's a huge character in Troy. And then it being played by Lupita kind of felt off. I don't know. I didn't love the casting there. And another thing, people are talking about the casting not being Greek, right?
yeah.
I don't give two shits about that. Like that's not a huge quarrel I have with this movie at all. I don't give a shit if they're not Greek or not. Obviously, it would probably be cooler if they're a Greek, right? but I don't mind the cast that was assembled, and I at least like that Nolan shot it on location in in the in Greece and in that area, Iceland in particular for the hell scene, which is all right. Did you like the hell scene?
Yeah, it's cool. Like they kind of can see the river of ice and fire in the back for a moment, and it's all foggy, and Elliot Page is all muddy, and I think that's a strong. It's an important moment, where like that
I
character
love
is
Eggman.
important.
I like Benny Safdie coming
Yeah,
out and him telling that the movie is literally stories.
yeah, it is.
Agamemnon comes out, tells a story. Sinone
Yeah,
comes out and tells a story.
yeah. I mean, I
All
think
this
that's
stuff.
kind of like the point. Like that's what he's trying to
Yeah, that's the
do.
point. I don't hate it. I actually do
It
have a little problem with the actual structure of the film. I don't know if you had any problem with the structure, especially in the beginning. Had some problems with the structure, like
it's a
how it was
tricky.
progressed.
Yeah, I think I was more like I was like, this is a really hard thing to pull off. So, and I think they did it. They structured it in a way that worked at the end. The beginning, I was like, it is a little like, man, I don't know if this was like the way to go here, kind of. But um, I think like looking, later in the movie, I was like, okay, I think it works at once I like finish the movie. But yeah, what was your issue?
I mean, especially at the beginning, it's jumping around a shit ton,
Yeah.
and it's kind of really hard to grasp. And you're just like, oh, which way are we going? Because my notion was it was going to start with the Trojan War,
Mm,
and it was just going to start like that, and then it starts with
Travis Scott.
the Travis Scott thing, and then it goes to like the Sinone thing, getting
Yeah.
shot by arrows, and that was really shocking. I was like, that's Achilles.
Right.
Achilles just got shot first minute. Like, what the fuck? And then you find out it's not Achilles. And I mean, I do have a similar thing where like in retrospect, it's not the worst thing. I mean, I still have some issues with how it's told towards the beginning, and it kind of eases into a more linear structure for like 20 minutes in. Like when the Cyclops thing happens, it kind of is doing more
Yeah. I mean, it still
structurally
will go
sound
back
things.
though. Like, it'll still kind
I
of
mean,
jump.
it's mostly doing Ithaca Odysseus thing, right? And then you kind of have like these off balance things of, I mean, you have like three timelines going on towards the
Yeah.
middle.
Classic
You have the
Nolan.
Odysseus journey, you have the Calypso thing, and then you have the Telemachus thing. Um, and I mean, the Telemachus like assassination felt really rushed for me. Um, it like he immediately goes into the city and he's immediately about to get killed, and then Odysseus is suddenly there and like saves him. And I was like, okay, that felt really
Well,
rushed. I would
I
really
thought
like
that
to.
too, but I thought about it. I feel like it makes sense because it was like those guys went who's the blind guy? He's a famous actor. I know. The blind
Uh,
guy. I know
why
his
are we
name.
why are we blinking?
I know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Anyways, yes,
Yeah, the blind guy. Man, that's gonna bother me.
I'll figure it out.
So those people came to him like assuming they just left, and
John
then yeah, Leguizamo.
Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sid the Sloth. Oh wait, Katie's here right now. Hold on. You want to give your thoughts on the Odyssey?
I do. I have a lot of really good thoughts. Can I take one of these so I can hear?
Oh yeah, 5-star.
5-star. I really think that. Let me think of something really good.
Okay, there you go. This is your moment.
Matt Damon deserves an Oscar for his performance.
There you go.
There.
Yeah.
That's my One Piece.
Why? Why does he deserve an Oscar?
He was so good because now I feel like I'm gonna start calling Matt Damon Odysseus instead because
He's Odysseus for life now. This is a role of a lifetime.
I almost forgot Matt Damon. Like it was Matt Damon, and everyone else I kind of remembered. I'm like, oh, that's Tom Holland. Oh, that's Zendaya. But him, I was like, that's Odysseus. So
yes,
Oscar.
Yeah,
okay.
Cool.
Enjoy.
So the bad guys leave to go like kill Tom Holland, and then I think then Odysseus gets there, like talks to him. He's like, "Oh, you got to go save your boy. It doesn't really say that, but like kind of figures that out. And then he leaves probably like soon after. So like the time I was like logically I think it like makes sense at least. It definitely felt like, oh shit, he's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's structurally, it's like they're kind of using that, like him being suddenly there as the surprise that he's there to
Yeah.
save him. It's kind of like the mini plot twist thing. But I mean, I kind of would have liked to like sit in that moment, have that drama between these characters in that moment, kind of build up to the assassination attempts a little
Yeah.
more dramatic instead of like really sudden. Instead of it
Yeah.
being like he's about to drink it and then his friend drinks it and is like spazzing out on the floor. It's not a huge deal. It's just like one of those things where it's just
Yeah.
like,
It's like
okay,
it's like such a big movie. It's like, you know,
yeah,
it's like should it be 4 hours? Maybe. Like
yeah.
maybe.
I honestly
Um
wouldn't mind if it was longer. I mean,
yeah,
it's such an expansive world,
I
and I think
know.
what Nolan really succeeds at is the locations, like being practical. Like I remember, like a year ago when they were talking about how they're practically doing it in the cave that it's based off of for the
Oh,
Cyclops. I'm like, that's fucking
really? I
sick.
didn't know that.
Yeah, they like literally filmed it in Greece in the cave
Whoa.
that
That's
Homer
kind
like
of
was basing it on.
bizarre.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
kind of
it's
awesome.
actually so insane that they were able to film it in these locations. Like
That cave is so
it,
awesome. I was thinking that where I was
oh
like,
yeah,
they
the
found
cave
a
is
great
insane.
cave because you feel so small, right? Like you feel them so small. They have a good line where it's like, "Would you talk?" Oh, he can speak. Oh, yeah. Would you talk to ants or something? Like little.
Oh, I did like that.
Um,
I was like, okay.
yeah, you feel so small in that, and like the opening of the cave and all that. It's so cool. There's like more of a there's more
Oh
stuff that happens in that cave that I kind of wish they went into. But again, like that part's already a long part in the movies. There's so much
yeah,
shit that
I
happens.
you just reminded me of a big thing I have a question about that's
Okay.
really confusing to me.
Okay.
So this they go in with the sheep, right? And they're in the cave. And then the Cyclops comes in and then he closes the cave and then he's in the cave. How the fuck did he get in the cave? Second of all, and can't they escape that way? Why do they have to go out of this big stone?
Oh, so there's like an entrance and he blocks it off with a big stone when
Yes.
he comes in and comes out. Wait, what's the confusion?
Oh, because for me, what I felt like, how I saw it was he closed it from the outside. So he's like lifting it like this, and he's in the outside because then all the soldiers they're hearing stuff happen on the outside. He can hear from the outside of the cave that he's like kind of walking around, right? Like he's kind of
Mhm.
outside the cave, maybe he's on top of the cave walking, and then all of a sudden he's in. So in that moment, I was thinking, like,
So
can't they escape
oh,
on
like
the back of the cave?
it's closed off. I think like he closes it off with the boulders, like either.
So he closed it all. He closes the cave. He walks around, walks in, and then closes that side as well. So he blocks them off on both
I
sides.
mean, he would only open one at a time though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you're saying that when he wrapped around and he opened that side of the cave and he closed it again. So there's
Yeah,
no way to leave that way.
probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I think like um
Because he didn't close it from the inside. It's not like he can't.
I
It's
think
not
he
like
he
the
does close
Cyclops.
it from the inside. He can close it from the inside.
No, no, I know he can,
Oh.
but from what I saw,
I
we're
think
like
I'm
mansplaining this to each other.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like from what I could tell that he closed it from the outside, he pulled it up, and
Okay.
then he walks around because you can hear the soldiers like listening in, right? There's no immediate danger that the Cyclops is in there right there because he would be right in front of him. You can kind of hear a crumbling of the rocks, and it's kind of like he's climbing around and he's finding a different entrance. So I mean, if it would make sense if he came through a different entrance and he closed it from the inside there as well. My biggest thing was like I didn't see any proof of that, and I was like, okay, like they don't even try that side of the cave. I don't know.
I don't remember. I
I
was
don't know
just
if
kind of
it's worth
like
getting into, but that
yeah.
was just one thing that like kind of clicked with
Yeah.
me,
Okay.
of being
I
like
don't know.
interesting. If you're in the comments,
Yeah.
maybe help me out and Luke out a little uh
I was definitely
in the
just like, "Oh,
comments.
I just assume the cave was closed where they can't get out, or it's, or when it's open, it's clearly open.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, anything else you want to say about
There's the
the
moment
behemoth
where
of a movie?
Zeus is killing them when he kills everyone on the boat, and the camera's on the boat, and the sound's so loud where I felt like I was in a 4D theater and my chair was just vibrating like fucking
Oh,
crazy.
the loudest scene. Yeah.
And it's like so, like the movie's kind of loud, and it's a loud movie, but that part I was like, oh, this loudness is working because I'm like shaking in my seat and I feel like I'm on that fucking boat, and like the camera's on the boat, and it's just like it's I that's one of like the best sequences, I think, where I was kind of floating and I was really there. That
Yeah.
was top moment for me in that movie, where I kind
I
of even
yeah.
started to forget my issues with it. It was just like, yeah, hell yeah,
I mean, no one has a track record of not being the best at sound mixing. In
yes,
a lot of his movies,
absolutely,
his sound is so loud you can't even hear the fucking dialogue,
yeah,
and it's like I mean, at that point, it's just like I don't know what the thing about that is. I don't know what's going on in post
yeah.
production there because I think
I
like does he not care about the dialogue? I don't know. Nolan isn't known for his scripts, obviously. I'm under
Some would
the
disagree.
notion that I think he's better when he's working with his brother than when it's a solo bout. And
Well,
I
what's
think
his
the
solo?
Odyssey,
Isn't his solo only Oppenheimer? Or does he have others?
it's this movie
Yeah.
and then possibly Oppenheimer. I know Jonathan. I mean, some of the best scripts, like
Uh,
for me,
I
I
know
think Inception is a good script.
Oppenheimer is just him, and that's his best script, I would say.
Yes. Where is Jonathan? I know he did The Dark Knight with him.
Right. I think it was like all of
Okay.
his I don't
Oh shit. What the fuck? Jonathan's only done Interstellar, Dark Knight, The Prestige, and The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he was
I
like
thought he was
in
like
almost every
Memento,
movie.
like all of his like early stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um
it seems like he started with The Prestige.
Now he's doing like the Fallout TV show. He's doing like television now. So, I don't know.
Interesting. I mean, it's cool that it's like a family thing. You got Emma Thomas there.
Right.
I think I'm gonna watch they just released a behind the scenes of the Odyssey,
Yes. Yeah. That's probably
and I think
nuts.
I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna find time for that before I go see it in 70 millimeter again
Yeah.
tomorrow, but we'll figure a way.
Yeah. I mean, my
But I
thing
think
is
that'll be
like,
interesting.
if this movie was shot better, I think it might be like a 4.5 star kind of thing.
That's
Genuinely.
insane.
Yeah.
I genuinely I didn't know what you were gonna think. I kind of was thinking 3.5
Yeah.
for you,
I was thinking three and a
because
half.
especially after I watched it,
Yeah.
it kind of solidified like what I thought you would think, which is
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, I
And
could see it because of the shallow, the focus problems that like are so annoying to me. I could see that. But I think like it's just like Matt Damon
my big
Odysseus.
my biggest thing is I thought you were gonna notice the actors kind of like I would,
Yeah.
and
I
I
kind
think
of
that would
like
be a
that
big.
though. Like I kind of like when actors are a little, I like M. Night Shyamalan. I like when actors do a little.
It kind of feels different though. Like I like M. Night Shyamalan acting. Like you think of Josh Hartnett and Trap, it is kind of over the top, but it kind of works in that world.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I just think like there's a I'm
Okay, compare it to something like Oppenheimer, right? Which feels so real, and like Killian Murphy in Oppenheimer feels like Oppenheimer.
Yeah, yeah. But I
Like
would say, Odysseus is a great. I don't think he's doing too much. Like I think he's a great
yeah, yeah.
performance.
I
But
mean,
I don't like Robert Downey
you're
Jr. in Oppenheimer. I don't think he's very good.
Really?
Yeah, I think
I love
he's
him in
like
that.
kind of like yeah, I kind of think he's the same issue, but it's like whatever. Like it's I know it's a hot take,
Yeah.
but like it's it's kind of it's just whatever. It's an actor acting, and um it just doesn't. It's never unless they're really bad, which I don't think anyone is enough to really take me out of it. Um, I'm not gonna take that as like a big flaw usually.
Yeah.
So I don't
Cool.
know. I just feel like that stuff I let slide more as long as I get to see the big boat on the water and
Yeah.
yeah, because just it's just like man, this movie's so epic. It's so like I can't help but kind of love it. It's just kind of what it
Yeah.
is. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm praying, and everyone watching this, pray for me for tomorrow. Well,
Yeah.
I guess by the time this movie releases, I will have seen it. So check out
Cool.
both of
Yeah.
our letterboxes.
Yeah.
Check out my letterbox, which is right below me right here. To see, yeah, we're actually also we're 3 subscribers away from 100, which is a small number in comparison to what you would typically think, but it
Yes.
is like kind of a big milestone. So
Yes.
we're
Please
thankful for the
subscribe.
people that are watching that have subscribed to us.
Yeah.
Please
Please
subscribe.
subscribe. Actually, like this video and on YouTube,
Share.
like it and rate it 5 stars on Spotify. That's what really helps us out. So please do that
Yeah, those
if
are
you
big
listen.
things as well.
Like that actually
Um,
helps.
yeah. So I mean, we could talk about this movie for as long as the movie is, but we have a time crunch.
Yeah.
So unless, do you have anything else you want to say?
Um,
Go see it in theaters. Go see
yeah,
it in
go see it in
IMAX, please,
theaters.
because it's the
It's
first movie ever shot in full IMAX. So
yeah.
like,
Maybe
please don't just.
have caused some issues though, I think.
I agree.
But whatever. Definitely a flawed movie. I from what I think it'll be better on the second watch, so I'm curious what you think, but it's definitely flawed. Like I don't think like a second watch is erasing its kind of blatant flaws. But yeah, let's move
Okay.
on. What'd you watch?
So I had a big 2 director week. So I watched a lot of Nolan and Nicholas Winding Refn. But I started with Carnage, which I'll talk about later. And then I kind of, after the last week's like Sam Raimi grind, I was at 9 and I love making lists. And so I wanted to watch one more Raimi to make it 10. And so I picked like one that's not as popular and not as what I saw stylized. I almost watched Dark Man. But I was like, you know what? I want to watch something a little more grounded by Raimi. And so I picked A Simple Plan, which is great. It's really good. It has like that.
Cool.
I don't know. It's kind of hard. It doesn't feel like a Raimi film. I will say that it doesn't. And it's really strange in that way. And the performances are stellar. Bill Bill Paxton is so fucking good. But who's even better is Billy Bob Thornton, who like blows it out of the water. He plays this really, really complex character that like is always shifting. And there's a moment in the middle of the film that's brutal. It's like this murder sequence that like plays out so methodically, and I don't know, the movie just feels so planned and well written and kind of grounded in humanity and greed and lust and friendship and brotherhood, and it kind of just all comes together. So it's an underseen Raimi, and I would
Yeah, I haven't
suggest
seen that one.
anyone who's seen Raimi to see it. You're not going to see the typical Raimi like directing stuff. It's very
Mhm.
basic. It's
Mhm.
very basic. It's mostly like it kind of shows you kind of what Raimi feels like story wise. It kind of feels like his script movie, you know, like a movie that he's probably been planning for a long time, and he kind of just had the balls to kind of do it, which is kind of feels kind of reverse, right? He kind of had the balls to do something simple,
Yeah.
no pun intended. But yeah, it's great. It was a great watch. And then I watched On the Beach at Night Alone by Hong Sang-soo, which
Oh,
is great.
big one.
It's so yeah. So I had seen I've seen this was my ninth Hong Sang-soo, which is crazy. Which is crazy. I'm already at 9 watched by
Yeah.
him. And I wanted to do his most popular 2 on the last 2 before I make the list. And because I was really interested, it's like this is easily his most popular film. I want to see if there's a lot of those Hong Sang-sooisms because it's 2016, and I know in the last 8 years he's been doing a lot of like bare bones stuff. And so I was wondering if this one is a little more high production, and it's not, which is really funny. It feels like every other Hong Sang-soo movie,
Mm.
and it's great. There's a moment in this movie that is maybe the funniest scene I've seen all year, and it deals with the guy just washing windows and they're ignoring him, and he's scrubbing the window so dramatically, and he's in this weird outfit, and he's just scrubbing the windows, and the people entering the hotel room like are like ignoring him that he's even there, and it's the funniest shit I've ever seen. And I was like, wow. And of course Hong Sang-soo has a great soju drinking scene.
Yeah.
Of course, what's a Hong Sang-soo movie without that?
Yeah.
And it's a really deep movie about past relationships and art. And I don't know, I think it's really good, and it's actually one of those movies that feels kind of similar. I'm kind of getting into this world of, okay, I know what I like, and I like what I like, and I kind of like that simple stuff a lot, like Perfect Days by Wim Wenders, or
The Odyssey.
you know, or The Odyssey, which is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It just kind of has this like simple nature. There's a sequence where they're smoking cigarettes in the rain that gave me a slew of nostalgia of Oregon, of just the way the rain was trickling. And it's one of the most inspiring movies to me, of like, this is the type of movie I want to make. Um, and I think it's the most prominent example of that in Hong Sang-soo's filmography, even though it's not my favorite. That it was just inspiring to watch. I just kind of just sat on my couch and I just kind of let the emotions envelop in me. And there were moments I was getting to near tears and I didn't know why. Like nothing was happening. It's like the beauty of the simple filmmaking was just overwhelming. You'll see a trend. I watched a lot of good movies this week. I watched The Faculty in theaters by Robert Rodriguez, which might be one of my favorite horror movies ever. It is so fucking good. It's insane. It's surprising how good this movie is. It's so funny. It has all these caricatures and stereotypes that are played into so well. There's a sequence where in the very beginning where they're introducing the characters and they're walking into school and it freeze frames on them and it says their name. And it's just like, oh, it's so cool. It's so stylistic in that way. And then there's the scene right after, and it feels like a John Hughes high school comedy. And then you add like this really fun, interesting alien story of them taking over the school. And it's just like, oh, it's so good. And I've never laughed so much in theaters. And it's not scary, but it's like campy horror. And Josh Hartnett is so gorgeous in this movie. He's so cool with
He's
like
a stunner.
the wetted hair down, and he just looks so good. And everyone's so sexy in this film. Fucking Elijah Wood is really good in it.
Is he
And
sexy?
yeah, he's like a cute, sexy, and I won't spoil it, but something happens that's great with him.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I would recommend this movie to. I literally the next day I was explaining it to someone at work, and I was like, "You need to watch this. You need to watch this." And they watched it that night, and they loved it. So it's cool when someone actually takes your recommendations and
Yeah.
actually loves it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm watching too many good movies this week. I'm gonna watch Moana. So I saw Moana in theaters, and I've never wanted to leave the theaters more. It's absolutely horrible.
So
I won't even
why'd you
speak
watch
about
it? Like just because it's in theaters?
So yeah, so my thing is I watch every single movie in theaters. So I literally, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm watching every single new release. I'm seeing almost
Okay.
every single re-release that they're doing. I try to be in theaters as much as possible. I'm in theaters maybe once a day. I'm in
Yeah.
the theaters every day almost.
Yeah.
It's gone to the point where the manager at Alamo knows me.
Yeah.
Like they know me. All the workers, they see me and sometimes they roll their eyes. They're like, "This guy's here again." Like I'm there every day.
Yeah.
And so Moana was like, you know what? I knew I wasn't gonna like it, and I hated it. It's the worst movie of the year.
You just
And then I
didn't like
watched.
it because you were biased. You knew you were gonna like it when you walked into that movie. Whatever. You're just a contrarian.
um, and then I watched Insomnia in preparation for the Odyssey. It was the only one I hadn't seen, and it's really good at the beginning, and then it falls off for me. Unfortunately, the performances are great. Especially. Why is she blinking? Hilary Swank is great, and she's actually really cute. I didn't realize how cute she was. So yeah, Insomnia is good. It's like a basic murder mystery that kind of turns itself on its head. The Insomnia stuff. So I have insomnia, and then it was just stressing me out to the point where it's just like I go through this every day. Why am I watching a movie with this? It's just like stressing me the
Hitting
fuck
too
out.
close to home.
And like not being able to sleep for 6 days is insane. But yeah, and then I watched a couple Nolan shorts, and then I rewatched Interstellar because I was like, "Fuck it, you know what? Let's see if this movie is actually as great." I saw this 4 years ago, almost to the day, and let's see if that 3.5 star rating is just me trying to be different. And it's not. It's not that good. It's good at moments. The ending in particular is what kind of holds it together. Without the way that it ends, I think it's a really average film, and it's just really boring and not a good way. 2001 is better in every single instance. And then I watched
Just trying to be
Troy.
different.
And then I watched Troy, which really surprised me. I thought I wasn't gonna like this movie, but I love the way this is shot. The casting is great. Everyone is casted to perfection. Brendan Gleeson is great in it. Brad Pitt is sexy as advertised. And yeah, I love the romance of this. The romantic stuff in it is cool, and it kind of feels like it's shot like a dream. Orlando Bloom isn't like a horrible person in this movie, but great performance. Sean Bean as Odysseus is really good. I love his kind of character and how he's kind of like a father figure to Achilles. Diane Kruger as Helen is like really good, and she has this kind of innocent angst and kind of doesn't know what she wants because she sees Orlando Bloom's cowardliness, but she still stays with him. And then she's married to Agamemnon, who's played by Brian Cox, who's really good. It's just a lot of good performances. Peter O'Toole's really good. It's just like a stacked ass cast that's just really beautiful, and the fight sequences are epic. They're huge. The movie never gets boring. It's a long ass movie, but it just feels jam packed, and it feels like it's obeying this 3-act structure that's really satisfying for me. It's like, okay, this is the setup of Helen getting taken. This is the whole buildup of the war that's happening, and then boom, it's all leading to the Trojan War with the horse, and it's great. It's an amazing film. And then I watched the Odyssey, and then I rewatched Dunkirk after the Odyssey because it's been too long for there, and I really like it. The Odyssey is, or the Dunkirk is great. Don't clip me saying the Odyssey is great. The Dunkirk is actually really, really good. I like how short it is. It's like really short compared to Nolan's other works, and it kind of great. Barry Keoghan, like the cast is great. And I think it is Nolan's best looking film. Surprisingly, I was like, whoa, I forgot how good this movie looks, and I actually think it's the best directed Nolan. There's stuff he's doing behind the camera that's just insanely good, using the water well. I think it was a great setup for the Odyssey, but I think it uses water because it's so based off of water. Like the whole movie's kind of based off this beach and the water. It works so well. Sorry, I watched a lot this week.
Yeah, you watched a lot.
I think I watched 22 movies in the span of
Holy
7 days.
shit.
So. And then I watched the Pusher trilogy in preparation for Nicholas Winding Refn, and it is so good. This Pusher trilogy is so good. Like everyone needs to see this trilogy. It's like a 1,000 movies you must see before you die. And Pusher 2 is insane. Pusher 2 is insane. Every single movie feels so different, but it feels connected. And they do the same thing that with the faculty, where at the beginning they have this low lit room and Rafen will like do this weird lighting where it only shows half their face and it introduces their characters to this really cool music. It'll be like Tommy and like all this stuff. And it's just so good. And it's all dealing with like drug dealers. And it's cool because the main character in the first one has a sidekick who's Mads Mikkelsen. And then Mads Mikkelsen's the main character of the second one, and he has a sidekick. And then the sidekick is the main character of the third one. And so you see all these characters, and like, you'll see a character in the third one from the first one. And you're like, oh, I remember that guy, and he wasn't in the second one. And he's like, hey, what's up, dude? And it's like, what? You feel this community, and the whole movie. Everyone in these movies are assholes. They're terrible people. They kill people for no reason. They're doing all these nasty drug deals. They're torturing people. The third movie in particular is maybe one of the most gruesome movies ever, like genuinely ever. It is
Wow.
fucked up, dude. There's some shit that happens at the end of Pusher 3 that's insane. Too bad the first half is really boring and lame, but then the second half picks it up, and I think I will push Pusher 3 up to a 4 star on a rewatch because it is
Yeah, I know a lot of people who think that's like a
ins-
masterpiece.
oh, insane. Like I think about that movie more than Pusher 2 almost because of how insane that movie is. But Pusher 2 is so different than the first one. The first one was Nicholas Winding Refn's directorial debut, and it feels like that. Kind of feels rambunctious in the streets, kind of similar to Bleeder. And it's just like drug dealing. And then Pusher 2 is a lot more humanistic, where you can see Mads Mikkelsen's character, who's maybe one of my favorite characters of all time. Like I'm not even kidding. Of all time, he's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I was near tears the entire film just looking at his face. There's like a sadness in his eyes that he doesn't want to be in this life, but he's so integrated in this life that he can't leave. He doesn't know other life. And his father is like the lead drug dealer, and he just wants his father's approval, but his father fucking hates him and tells him, "You're a loser." And the whole time the movie, everyone's telling him, "You're a loser, you're ugly," all this stuff, and he just kind of takes it. And you can see the sadness boiling in his heart, and it just breaks you. You're just like, I'm like near tears right now just thinking about it because it's just so sad. Like words mean something to people, and even though they don't show it, it like, and the fact that he doesn't take the initiative to just kill them right then, like I'm just like, you need to kill this woman right now, the way she's talking to you. And then the refrain to just sit there in the chair and just take it is just really powerful stuff and great acting by Mads. Then I rewatched Evil Dead Burn and I don't like it. So I
Yeah,
was wrong,
let's
guys.
talk about this. This is crazy. Oh, I've been waiting to talk about this. I did not expect that at all.
So you
That's
saw my rating and you're
I
like,
saw your rating when I was like, I'm not gonna text you because I want to talk about it on the pod.
yeah. So yeah, I was watching it and uh I didn't get that same feeling the first time, and I was just like shrugging my shoulders the whole time. It's like, what the fuck was I thinking? I was
My
like,
God.
what is going on? Like I really, and the reason I rewatched this is because the more I sat with it, even before we had the podcast, you talking about it made me realize a lot of things. But even before that, it being my favorite movie of the year, it didn't sit with me, which is really strange because there's a lot of other movies that are way lower rated that didn't sit with me. And also, I was watching these movies like The Faculty or On the Beach at Night Alone, and I was giving them 4 stars. And I was like, there's no fucking
Mm.
shot Evil Dead Burn is on the same level of On the Beach at Night Alone. There's no way.
So different
There,
though, to be, you know, like,
but it's like there's something
but I agree. But like,
there's something emotionally attachable to those movies, or The Faculty is really fun and I had a blast watching it. And then On the
yeah.
Beach at Night Alone is very personal, and I'm thinking back to Evil Dead Burn, and I'm just like, what did I attach myself to? Was it one scene that I liked, and I just kind of like gave myself to it, and I wanted to be different and give it a 4 star and make it my favorite movie. Like genuinely, I don't know what I was thinking. Um, I would put it my least favorite Evil Dead burn now. So it
Oh
went
my
from 2 to
god.
6. So
That is like so
I
crazy after
so
last week.
the everyone, you should take note of this because I'm going to be a little narcissistic here. I'm really proud of myself of being honest that
Yeah,
I'm
can't
wrong.
can't say he's not honest,
People can be wrong about first time watches, as I hope I am with the Odyssey. So
right? I mean, I
opinions change.
I could see myself being you on a second watch with the Odyssey too, right? Like,
Like not liking it
yeah, because
as
I
much.
mean,
Yeah.
I definitely was like, oh, there's a lot of shit that I normally wouldn't like here, but I'm just kind of loving it.
Yeah.
Um, and I get what you're saying about the performances, but I just like had fun with it. I don't,
Yeah.
whereas like,
Yeah.
but it was fun for me this time. Who knows if it's fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't say he's
Especially
not
when you like know
honest.
the story uh,
Right. Well, I
I
kind of knew the
I've
story.
known I've met a lot of people that say they will never rewatch a movie in their life, and I
Right.
never understand that
Yeah.
because people change, opinions
Yes.
change,
Yeah.
uh,
That's kind of the beauty
and
of
even
watching movies is like you in a few years you're a different person and you watch it and you're like you see it so differently. Like that's kind of like
yeah,
what's so fun about it.
even for an example like Interstellar, where after 4 years I rewatch it and I
Yeah.
gave it the same score, there's something different about it, right?
Yeah, it's a different
It's
movie
kind
still.
it's kind of like I refresh of what I don't like about it. Maybe I like some different things that
Yeah.
I didn't like the first time. Maybe I don't like a lot of things I liked the first time. And you kind of it's also like a reformed opinion because people used to go to me like, "Why don't you like Interstellar?" And I genuinely didn't have an opinion because I don't remember much of it. And then just rewatching it, now I know what to say and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
know why it's not the greatest movie of all time, and it's
Right.
also because I've grown through cinema by watching a shit ton of movies every year. It's just like I know what I'm. The thing is like the more movies you watch, the more you're refining your taste. I feel, you know, you can look at most of your ratings now and be like, that doesn't apply to me now, right?
Sure.
So it's all about in the moment stuff. And then I watched The Flicker, um,
Yeah. Talk
which I
about
will
it.
talk briefly about, which is absolutely insane. I actually learned a lot about myself through it because when I started it, there's a funny thing. This is one of
Explain what it
the
is.
so the Flicker is a 30-minute short film made in 1966 of strobe lights, black and white strobe lights, just flashing your face for 30 minutes.
Yep.
So there's something really interesting about this film, which I've never really felt. It kind of feels entering this movie like you're about to go on a roller coaster. I'm really afraid of roller coasters, right? Let's attach it to anything you know you're going to be afraid
Right.
of, but you're going to do it. It's like you know what you're getting into, and you're like, fuck. Okay, let's do it. And then there's like a 5 minute title sequence, like warning you about what you're about to watch. And that I think is the most interesting part of the movie because you're kind of it's like, oh shit, like you're gonna get
Yeah.
into it,
It's like
and
when you're
you're kind
going
of
up
building.
on the roller coaster.
Yeah, you're getting up on the roller coaster, and then it happens, and it gets more and more intense. And I kind of realized as I was watching it because you're staring at the screen, and my eyes would keep moving, and I was like, okay, Eli, you're literally gonna pass out. So like I told myself, just look at the center, like keep your eyes in one position, because if you move your eyes, you're gonna die. And then also And then also I was squinting and it was hurting, so I was relaxing my face. I was like, okay, that's better. So as throughout the movie, I learned how to um, handle it better because at the beginning I was squinting my eyes because it's so bright in the dark room, and I'm moving my eyes, and I'm like, oh, I need to pause this, which I didn't because I was like, that's bullshit. I'm gonna do this as intended.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and so I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking die." I, like, literally feel like my body's shaking, and
Yeah.
so then I was like, "Okay, stop moving your eyes, relax your face," and then it became a cool experience, and I
Yeah.
got through it.
Great.
And when it ends, you're like, "Thank God."
Yeah.
If it was 1 minute longer,
I
jeez.
know. You might just die.
Yeah, it's literally, I think it should be like a, so before, even if you haven't seen this, I think anyone, we have football in 8 weeks. Fantasy football punishment is watching the flicker. Like, I genuinely think it's
For
torture.
24
Like,
hours straight.
yeah, for 24 hours straight. I think you would die.
Yeah.
Um, and then I watched The Neon Demon last night. Man, I mean, it's so fucking good. The synth score by Cliff Martinez is insane. The visuals are stunning. Elle Fanning is stunning. Uh, it's so deep. It's talking about the way that the industry, like the model industry, deals with women as like items. Like they only care about how they look, not who they are. And Elle Fanning's character progression is really interesting because she starts out as this innocent new girl in LA and she really wants to be a model. And then the more she's getting into it, she begins to become this like narcissistic person of being like, I am the best, I am the prettiest, everyone wants to be me. And she has this anger. And her love interest kind of loses interest in her immediately. Like, you're not the person, this isn't you. And Keanu Reeves is really funny in it. There's like really surreal moments of like a panther showing up in the motel room, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" And it just cuts and never like mentions it again. You're like, "That's so cool." Like Rafen is just doing whatever the fuck he wants, and it's really fun to see. It's like my favorite type of filmmaking of just doing whatever the fuck you want. And the ending just blew me out of the water. I was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and it's just and there's also a really gross necrophilia scene. It's like
Ooh.
insane. Um, but yeah, it's a really good. The whole movie is a metaphor of beauty and plastic surgery and how women want to be prettier and yeah, it's really good. And I'm halfway through Drive right now, which is gonna be great. And then I just watched Valhalla Rising. So I watched three Punishers, Neon
Yeah.
Demon, Valhalla Rising, and Drive in the span of 3 days. So I've watched 7 Nicholas Winding Refn movies in 3 days, which is insane. Valhalla Rising is gorgeous. I think it's his prettiest movie, but it's the most boring and useless of his movies. It's like there's no. I'm like, this movie is useless except for beautiful Scandinavian skies, and he cuts to like these red shots that are insane. Like it's almost like predicting the future for Mads Mikkelsen's character, and he's a mute, which I typically don't like mute characters. He's all right. Um, and my biggest gripe with the movie is that it's in English. Unfortunately, I hate to be that guy. I fucking hate that the movie's in English. You have a Danish actor, you have a Danish director with a whole Danish crew and cast, and it takes place in Denmark, and it's about Vikings in the 1200s, and it's in English. What are we doing? It's so dumb. Anyways, that's what I watched this week. Sorry it took so long. I watched a shit ton of movies. I was looking at my diary yesterday. I was like, oh, it's gonna take fucking an hour
I'll
for me to talk about all
I'll
these.
balance you out. I have 2 movies to talk about.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
I know. It's
We're on a
I need to
different
log
level,
in.
dude.
I need to log in, dude.
We're on a different
It's
level. I'm watching a shit ton.
no.
Also, the only reason I'm watching all these movies is because I'm grinding them for like the Q&A that I'm seeing tomorrow. You know, like I have a
Yeah.
purpose to watch these
You and
movies.
Mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't know. Life is just kind of just a lot of shit happening. Um but I watched 3 Godfathers, which is a John Ford movie, with, of course, John Wayne, with a
Of course.
really great performance from Ward Bond, and um, it's the classic, I mean, it's the 3 wise men story from the Bible, basically, kind of, sort of an
Mhm.
Odyssey movie, actually, because it's definitely
I know what you're recommending me.
little foreshadowing now. Um, it's yeah, so it's basically starts off as like, 3 kind of uh outlaws, and they rob a bank and then try to get away, and the sheriff like shoots when they're in like the shootout chasing them, they shoot their water supply and trap them in the desert. and kind of like strategic. That's Ward Bond, and he's the sheriff strategically kind of trapping them in the desert, so they're kind of wandering, three of them with, dying, and they're going through like the desert of Arizona, and it's a really beautiful looking movie, of course, as it's John Wayne. Um, I think, for me, it it took a little bit of a, I think the that story, the like Three Wise Men story is really good because it's kind of about redemption, and it has some core themes to it, that are great, and it's a great story. And I think like the movie goes a little farther than it needs to, and then kind of makes it about like, oh, and God is real, and like the Christian God is real, and it just kind of like that's kind of what it turns into a little bit, which just is like a little, I don't
Like
like.
kind of taking a side
I mean,
almost in a way, instead of keeping it
it
ambiguous for the audience to kind of come to that
yeah.
conclusion
I
on their
mean,
own, of course.
sure, yeah, but I think like it's just kind of like, I mean, like the stories, of those stories kind of like similarly to like even the Odyssey or any like Greek mythology story are like great stories kind of on their own, and they don't need you to like confirm like one certain religion, and like the fact that it like chooses, obviously, John Ford's kind of he's a conservative filmmaker, and has like those little isms, but like to like kind of take a like really good story and then like kind of just, kind of make it about that. It's just, yeah, you don't need to do that, and it's just like that's gonna turn me off personally from it. So,
Yeah,
that was just a
that would
little,
turn me off too.
bump, but um, it's beautiful, and there's kind of a beautiful, ending. Um, that Yeah, I would recommend it. It's still a really good movie, and it's fun, and um, whatever. Okay, Before Sunrise, I finally watched my Criterion of it, which I've had for so long, just never popped it
Do you have
in.
the whole trilogy? Do you have the whole trilogy?
Yeah, I don't think you can buy them separate, to my
Yeah,
knowledge. Yeah, I have the Trill, so I'll be watching the next two soon, probably. I kind of
yeah,
forgot like how great it is. Like I kind of was watching it thinking like, oh, this movie's probably like really good, but not. I didn't think it was gonna stay at like a. I have it at 4.5 stars. I thought the next one was gonna be that for me. Like, that's kind of what I had in my head. Like the second one's clearly just like a masterpiece, and the rest are just like
what
really good. And it still might be the best, but I'm just saying like I didn't think these would be like masterpieces, kind of, where I like kind of think they are like, or I mean this one. Um, like I think the movie is shot so insanely well, where I'm getting like James Benning from it, and I'm getting like,
mhm,
um I want to say Stan Brakhage from one of his films about a train, Wonder Ring, I believe. Because a lot of it is about the train. Yeah, and yeah, Before Sunrise, incredible. I mean, kind of beautiful dialogue, beautiful movie magic moments. And I think there's something I wrote in my review, like this is a very spiritual movie, and I think it's like a lot of the movie is like the heart of it is kind of how, spiritual this like fall, this like falling in love is, and their chemistry and their connection at that moment. It's kind of like a one in a billion thing, and I think you feel that, like you feel how surreal, the moment is, and how it isn't
yeah.
like, there's some like mysticalness, with their love that's like really beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I was really just in love with the compositions of that movie. Like I watched it so long ago that I didn't remember it as much, but it was very inspiring, and I love Linklater for that reason. Um
I'm excited for you to give Before Sunset the 5-star it deserves.
we'll see. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. And
It's
that's
gonna happen. I have a
it,
feeling.
it might, yeah. All right, we'll see. That's all I fucking watch because I'm a loser. But
Okay, you talk about Avanti.
okay, sure. Watched it today. Here's the thing with Avanti. It's definitely too long.
I agree.
Especially when I'm trying to I was really like trying to schedule watching the World Cup final today.
Mm.
And this movie and going to the Odyssey and then coming back and filming this. And I was just it was like I had to break this one up and finish the last 40 minutes after the World Cup. Um but it's just like a really fun movie. I think I mean I love like Italian settings and all that. And so it's just really fun. Like it's just really like a fun script. It's witty. I think what kind of makes it great is the Jack Lemmon performance, who's just like one of the all-time greats, and just giving so much of like his power to like make this movie great. Like it's genuinely so much of him where he just has like these little Jack Lemmonisms that like are so weird and quirky that just makes it
Yeah.
so fun to watch. It's I don't Billy Wilder's I think he's probably a really bad womanizer. Like the way he treats like the women in his movies are like it really, I don't love it. It's definitely like they're like very much objects. And they even joke about it in this movie where she's like the main woman is like, I don't mind being a sex object and kind of like jokes about it. So at least it's self-aware, but it's still a little bit like I don't know. Can you like make them? Because it's kind of like whenever Jack Lemmon finally wants to get with her, like she'll be down. It's kind of like the tone of the movie. Um, and it's just like, and the 7 year itch, and that is I think a much worse
Well, the
case.
7 Year Itch is like the worst example of that because that's the
Yes,
whole basis of the movie.
yeah, it's that's like the more obvious one. This one's not as bad, but it's definitely like there, and it's definitely kind of like core part of this movie is a little bit like pro this free European in Billy Wilder's view, I assume, this free European lifestyle that is more appealing because you can have affairs and it can be like casual, or there's like some of that stuff, um, which I don't know, but it's like really fun and there's a big joke. There's like the constant joke that Juliet Mills is like fat. Like the main woman is like fat in the movie and she's like not fat like at all. And it's like a real thing where I like most of the movie I thought it was irony, kind of, which like maybe it still is, but then is like another character was like, oh, maybe if she was 10 pounds lighter, I would think you were having an affair. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like there's just everyone's going ham on her. And her name's Piglet, right? I mean, it's like Miss Piglet. It's like, yo, this is crazy. So yeah, but
What do you think of like the setting of the Italian hotel? It's
yeah,
like
love it. Love it. I
love
mean, I
it.
love the exteriors and it kind of goes a lot of like random like crime shit happens and it's very silly. Um it's just what really sold me there's the moment they go into the morgue and oh, yeah, I mean the premise of the movie is really good where this man his father dies in Italy and he goes to get his father's body and bring it back to the US
Like
and
Hokum.
yeah, true.
Like Hokum.
In a hotel. Um, and so then this woman he meets there also is like, oh, getting her mother and for her mother also died. And turns out that both of their parents were having an affair. And then the two kids who went to go get their parents end up having a romance of their own, a little affair of their own. Which is kind of yeah, that stuff's really good. It's a fun premise. And so they go into the morgue and they see the two. It's this like little tiny, just like church kind of building, and there's this like god ray of sun coming through the window and the two bodies, and it's really well shot. The movie is really well shot generally, but just this moment, it's edited really well, just constructed really well. Where I was just like, I got so on board at that moment. Just kind of stuff like that. But yeah, good movie.
Yeah, so I watched Carnage, and it was really interesting because it's the day after I rewatched The Invite. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
probably not a great idea on my part.
I actually liked it. I really liked it like that.
Okay, good.
'Cause I saw a lot of similarities. Like they are very, very similar.
Yeah.
Weirdly. I didn't think it was going to be that similar thematically. Like thematically, it's very similar. Like the way that the characters are going, and it's such a rambunctious movie. From what I've heard, it's very similar to the Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, or is that how you say it? I don't even know how to say that word. It's such a hard word. Every time I hear it in a movie,
Yeah,
I try to replicate it. Anyways, I heard it similar to like that, where they can't leave the apartment, just like how in that movie they can't leave the dinner table. And I haven't seen that movie. Um, and that was interesting because it kind of feels feels very convenient, I guess you could say, because they're literally leaving the apartment within 5 minutes of the movie, and then you have 80 minutes left,
yeah.
and then you're just like, okay. So that was like a hard thing for me to tackle over. The biggest thing, the performances are stellar. So I would say specifically, Christoph Waltz is great. I always love his voice. There's something about Christoph
Yeah,
Waltz's voice that's so
I
great.
agree.
Like he's just like the greatest voice ever. But Jodie Foster is insane. Like she's doing some ridiculous shit. She's screaming at some moments and you see veins popping out of her neck and you just feel it. And you just feel it. And Kate Winslet's like all over the place. Like she's trying to keep this demeanor. And like as the movie goes along, you realize they're characters, and it's just like a really fun way to tackle it. The biggest device that's used is a literal device, which is Christoph Waltz's phone, which I think is greatly used here, and it's a great ending too, with the phone ringing again after it's in the water.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I love the opening shot of just the kids in the park, and
And
then
it
it
bookends
closing with
it.
that,
Yeah.
and I just love that. And John John C. Riley is a really underrated actor. Like people
Yes.
think of as the Step Brothers guy, like he's the comedy guy. He's
Yeah.
really good at drama. Like he's done
Yeah.
a lot of
And
good stuff.
he's got Martin Scorsese, PTA under his belt, Roman
So
Polanski.
he's really good in this movie. Um, just the performances across the board. I love the dynamics are always changing.
It's an
You
actor's
know,
showcase. Yeah.
yeah, the dynamics are always changing from like the two couples being on each other's side to like Christoph Waltz being on John C. Riley's side, and then him switching to Jodie Foster's
Right.
side, and like it's like they're always changing, and then it turns into the couples arguing against each other, and it's just great. It's just like Kate Winslet's like, oh, I have to deal with this all the time with the phone, all the time. Doesn't matter where we are, all the time. And I don't know, it is a actor showcase, and it's really good. It's just it feels too. I don't want to say isolated because that's the whole point of the movie. It just kind of feels it's not giving me anything emotionally. Like I appreciate it for what it is. It's very simple directing, in my opinion. Like it's the directing isn't going crazy like especially like you said, it's hard to compare when you're comparing it to Olivia Wilde, who's doing this really cool blocking stuff. I'm not saying Carnage doesn't have good blocking, and Polanski is a better director than Olivia Wilde. It's
It's
just
not as flashy. Polanski's taking a
yeah,
more because it's based on it's based on an actual stage play, and so he's doing more of like a theatrical thing where the camera is really letting it's really for like the performances and
yeah,
it's editing to the rhythm of the dialogue and more of
yeah,
that like reserved stuff. It's definitely
yeah.
different.
It's serving its purpose, and I love the acting. It's just that's all I kind of get from it. The themes aren't as emotionally enveloped as the invite, especially when you have an ending like the invite compared to an ending like Carnage, and Carnage kind of just like kind of feels like a drop off, and then the Invite kind of feels like a well-rounded conclusion. Um, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's better than the Odyssey. So, yeah,
Crazy.
that's what I watched. Okay, what are you recommending me?
Okay, I'm recommending you. It was something. Shoot, I had it. It was something related to something you just watched. Wait, do you know what you're recommending me? Let me find it.
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm forcing you to watch it. I'm making you watch Bahubali, the epic.
Oh my God, really?
So
Holy
here's
shit.
the reason why. It relates to the Odyssey. I'm really glad I watched this movie before the Odyssey. Because I think you'll appreciate how fucking epic this movie is. So it's on Netflix. The epic version is on Netflix.
Cool.
I checked that before I recommended this to you because you need to see this on a big screen. And since it's leaving theaters, you missed the window of Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there's no better time. I cannot stop thinking about this movie where I just need you to watch it and I need to know someone who has seen this movie.
Okay.
Like I
You just want
genuinely
someone to
cannot.
talk about it with.
Yes, I can't live with this movie alone. Like genuinely it's that good. And I think you'll just appreciate just the same way how you think the Odyssey is like monumental and epic. This movie is insane. It's doing insane stuff. SS Ramen Julie is doing a cool thing every second. Like there's something interesting every single second. You don't get bored for the full 4 hours. You want it to be longer, which is why I can't wait to watch like the actual like 5.5 hour version. And it's just I don't know how to explain this movie. It's so bizarre. It's so singular. There's no movie like this. I genuinely think on a rewatch it'll be in my top 10 movies of all time. Like it's that good. It's emotional. It's about brothers. It's about parents, which I know you like as well. Like a lot of the movies you like are based around that family dynamic, and that's basically what this movie is about. And it does an incredible thing, just like the Odyssey. Half of the movie is a story, which is so cool. It's literally a guy telling a story about his uncle, who's played by the same character. So, and it's also like really prophetic. It reminds me a lot of like symbols of like a Jesus like figure, right? But in a different context of a different religion, right? Like these people worshiping this human guy who has these like superhuman powers, who's kind of like they call him a god, similar to like Odysseus. Like it's literally watching this movie before the Odyssey made me dislike the Odyssey so much more because of how much better in every regard Bahubali is. The music is absolutely insane. And I don't expect you to attach yourself to the music as much as I am, because that's just like another element that I just appreciate to a whole degree. But the way that the music is in this movie is like I can't even explain it. It's just so insane. There's so many cool set pieces. It's probably one of the prettiest movies ever made. If you like Avatar, you'll love this movie. So yeah, I can't wait for you to watch it. I'm sorry to put a 4 hour movie on you, but if I can watch 9 hours of film during a workday, I'm sure you'll find some time throughout your just think of it as two movies basically.
Yeah, I might split it up, but
No, don't do that.
I don't know. I might have
Well,
to.
there's a 10-minute intermission.
Okay.
So I mean you can do that. I would suggest to the best of your ability watch it in one sitting.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst case in the world to split it up. But the first part leaves on a cliffhanger, and you're just gonna want to keep watching.
All right. Cool. Okay. So I'm recommending it was actually based off of what you recommended me with Jack Lemmon. I'm recommending you Glengarry Glen Ross. Pretty
Okay.
big movie. Another movie based on a play. So I guess that's what I'm doing. It's a David Mamet play. That is he also wrote the screenplay for it, and it's interesting. So basically it's kind of this I guess a real estate company, I'm pretty sure, and there are all these salesmen, and basically Alec Baldwin comes in and like rips him a new one and is like, all right, you guys got to step it up. There's kind of a challenge between them all, and like whoever sells the least is fired, and then there's like other
Mm.
rewards, and so there's like stakes, and then um yeah, it kind of like, yeah, it's got a lot of, it's got Al Pacino and Kevin Spacey and Alan Arkin, and
Oh
Jack
yeah.
Lemmon is older, right? This movie came out in 92, so it's an older Jack Lemmon, and he's just kind of awesome. I love him. So that's what when I was watching Avanti, I was thinking about it, and you haven't seen this movie, and so, you know, naturally. Yeah, there you go.
Cool. I'm excited. That's been high on my watch list for sure.
Cool.
So I'm excited to dig into it.
Okay, what's next week? Don't
What
remember.
even comes out? I'm seeing Her Private Hell. I don't
Might
know
be
if
her favorite.
there's screenings there for
If I
you.
can watch it, that's what we're doing next week. Whatever.
I Want Sex is coming out as well. I'm seeing that
Okay.
on the 1st. I'm watching Sheep in the Box. I don't know if they have any screenings of Sheep in the Box near you.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's the new Hirokazu Koreeda movie
Oh,
that premiered at Cannes.
probably
It's not
not.
getting
Fan.
well received.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Hopefully, it'll probably be something good, is what it's sounding like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So something good next week on episode 23.